Welcome to Classroom 2 Courtroom. Here's your host, Scott Benton.
Hey everyone, Scott Benton here. How are you? I'm the host of the Classroom to Courtroom podcast, a podcast where we help you easily transition from law school student into your professional career as an attorney, a subject that is not taught in law school and where they often expect you to get that education when you join a law firm, but a law firm expects that you already know how to do that. So we have decided to fill that gap. We're also here to make the practice of law fun, a message that doesn't always get communicated, but all of this information that we're providing you is certainly going to help make your career as an attorney fun, and it should be fun. Today, we're going to answer the question of how do you tell the story of your case? How do you tell the story of your case? Are you a law student or recent graduate waiting for admission to the California bar and eager to gain real-world legal experience? Join the Legacy Lawyers' coveted associate programs in sunny Southern California. Our hands-on spring, summer, and fall programs provide opportunities to dive into high-stakes probate litigation. If you aspire to litigate and thrive in an America First culture that values God, family, and country, we want you on our team. Don't wait, space is limited. Call 714-766-0457 to learn more about this exciting opportunity. That's 714-766-0457. Elevate your legal career with the Legacy Lawyers. Now, when you first meet a client, that's often during the initial consultation with them. And what you have in front of you are maybe some notes that were taken during the intake session. It is something that happens when a potential client calls up a law firm and talks to somebody, and they discuss whether or not there is a case that is viable or not. So you have some supporting documentation. Maybe there's a Redfin report on a property that's involved in the case, or the client might have brought in some other official documentation like a birth certificate, or there might be some wills or some other trust or court documentation that you're looking at that you have in your hands. But at that point, you really don't have enough to tell the story of the case, a compelling story that you could turn to somebody and just start telling them the story about this particular case that you're working on. You're still in a part of the process where you are collecting case facts and what you need to refine and position the story, that eventually it's going to become the foundation of what you build your case from. And it's going to help you frame your case and really how you cast your characters in your story. And beyond that, how you come up with your case strategies. But it all starts with that story. So the story needs to have a cohesive narrative that's got to be ideally compelling and easy to tell. Now, sometimes with all the complexities and details that you're going to get surrounding a case in the case facts that the client is going to be telling you about, that's not always really easy to do, to tell a compelling story. But here you are sitting in front of the client with a part of the story, but not all of the story. You don't have all of the story yet. And you're not going to start to dig deep into the recesses of their memories. You're going to do that once you understand where you are in the story and where you need to go. So now you're going to go deep into that narrative, and as deep as it takes you. And it's certainly going to be deeper than what was disclosed during the intake session. So those notes that you have, that's going to be really a broad overview. Now, those are valuable, and you have to have them to really understand maybe the big steps of the story, but now you want to get granular. Now you want to get down to the actual story beats. So the entire key at this point is, of course, to get the case facts, and only the facts. That's from an old TV show. It's a reference. Now, it doesn't really matter what facts you get, not at this point. So you want to get them all. Now, you're going to have facts that are going to seem highly relevant to the case, but you're also going to get facts that seem totally irrelevant. But whatever facts come in, you don't want to discount anything, none of them, because inside of even discounted facts, the ones that you've ignored or you think they're irrelevant, those are sometimes we call those background facts. So in the law firm that I work for, we call those background facts because they're facts that really aren't going to apply to the law. You're not going to present them in court. No one's going to know about them except you and your client, but they are still important to your case. And you're going to find opportunities inside even those background facts and in the facts, the ones that you are going to use in a court, let's say, and all of them, they're going to provide important story beats or sometimes like plot reversals that you might end up incorporating into your narrative that you're working on. This is why we often say that you want to go 3 levels deep into the story, not just all the surface stuff. You really want to get into the feelings and even what the aromas were when somebody was going through a particular incident, what they heard or what they felt, or the 5 senses. You want to incorporate those because that's helping you drill down deep into those 3 levels. Maybe you can go beyond 3 levels, but you want to get down deep, and you want to do that through that sort of sensory information. And what did you hear? And what did that food taste like? What was the drink? What was that experience? And you want to do that for a couple reasons. First, you want to completely exhaust the client by having them just dump absolutely everything out onto the table, so to speak, about the case, because that mind dump that they're doing, that just thoroughly deep cleanses their brain. There's nothing left when they're done telling you the story. And you want to do that. You want that mind dump, that deep mind dump, because now there's a vacuum. And there's an old saying that nature hates a vacuum. So it's going to allow more information to come back in to fill that vacuum. It allows them to fill up that space with new information and new memories and new items about the case that you're working on. And a lot of times, that's where the real meat and potatoes, the rice and couscous of the case, are going to materialize. That's where they can be found. Or maybe at least as far as your case is concerned, it's really going to start taking shape, that story. And you're going to begin to see additional possible case strategies and directions that are going to begin to emerge because you've had your client completely empty their mind. New information has come in. They've given you that as well. And now all kinds of possibilities open up. So once that's done, now you finally have all the building blocks you need to put your story's narrative together. It's really just a matter of sitting there and fitting the puzzle pieces together until the picture of your story, it starts to come into focus and emerge. Now you can start to construct the story arc, and you can begin to include the different functions and motivations of the various characters inside of your story, or the people who inhabit this landscape, so that you can illustrate a tale of injustice or graft or coercion or deception or whatever you need to build your story engine. And you need to use that story engine to navigate the setup and the payoff of your argument and ultimately win and achieve your client's legal objectives. But it all starts with gathering those case facts and digging down deep, 3 layers into your client's story and capturing just really as many of those facts as you possibly can. So you want to do that, and it's not always easy. Hopefully you've built a relationship with your client. Hopefully you have that instant rapport thing going. Those are skills you want to develop if you haven't already done so. There's a great book you can start with called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. There's another book called Instant Rapport. That's really helpful. But you want to be able to create that bond quickly with your client so that they will do this mind dumping kind of process with you and clear out their mind. But they're really probably only going to do that if they have a foundation of trust with you. And you need to figure out how to do that and do that quickly. Instant rapport. So what you want to do while you're gathering all these case facts, you want to ask open-ended questions. You want to say things like, tell me a little bit more about that. You want to keep your client remembering details, exhausting their brain, emptying it out completely so they have room to remember new material, new facts that just really weren't previously acceptable until you've cleared their mind. So as you work with the building blocks of your client's story, which you now have with this multitude of case facts, you're going to start to find that certain themes and patterns begin to emerge, which don't really always come right away, like in the beginning with intake notes or something like that, especially with those surface level storylines. That's all you have in the beginning. It's much different when you've gone through this process. You have a depth of story material to work with. And it's another reason you want to spend as much time as you can on this part of the process, just digging, going deeper and deeper. It's not until you almost have the story done that you will really begin to see these patterns and these themes. You really, it's not until the end when you've done all the work. So don't expect that to happen at the front. So as a side note, by the way, if you really want to get better at storytelling, if you want to develop that skill, I can tell you that there are any number of books out there that all contain just several golden nuggets of wisdom that are going to help you understand all the storytelling traditions. So there's like the classic 5-part structure. Those are like Shakespeare plays. There's the 3-part structure, which you're probably more used to with movies, for instance. There's also the 1-act structure, which you want to be familiar with. These are all different sort of storytelling structures that you can learn about that are going to help you build your ability to tell a better story. There's this old cliche, who knows if it's even true or not, but it's the person who tells the best story wins. I think there's actually a book title with that name. You don't even need to read that book. You just need to know that concept. The person with the best story wins. That's going to be very beneficial. Learning storycraft is something that you should spend a little bit of time on. It's going to help you gather your story facts, put them in order, and really build that narrative, which you want to get really good at. I hope that's been helpful. My name is Scott Benton. I'm the host of the Classroom to Courtroom podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, if you like this information that you're getting from us and you want to get alert every time we put out a new episode, you can go to our website. Our website is classroom2courtroom.com. You can put in your contact information. When we release a new episode, we will send you a message that says this new episode is available. Here's the link. And if you do like this material, of course, you can help us out. You can share and subscribe. If you want to stay on top of our newest episodes, we hope you'll join us for the next Classroom to Courtroom podcast episode. And until then, we also hope you'll join us in our mission of making the world a better place, one client at a time. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks for joining us on Classroom to Courtroom, the podcast designed to help launch your first-time legal career. If you have any feedback or ideas for episodes you'd like to hear, you can always find us at classroom2courtroom.com, where you can leave comments, ask questions, and even join our online community. And always remember, by becoming an excellent and confident practicing attorney, you actually make the world a better place. Now get out there and master the art of practicing law.